Bum, ba-na. Sup, dudes? Sup, man? Hey, y'all see the avatar? Y'all seen the notifications, man? Y'all know what time it is, dude. Y'all know what this stream is going to be all about. We are going to kill Bill. What's going on, man? How y'all doing? This is stream number 2 for me today. This is stream number 2 for old 2 cents. Twofer. 2 for 1. Speaking of 2 for 1. Man, I'm telling you, things just kind of all lined up. Things were kind of, for this one, it's kind of everything just kind of worked out the way it should. Because originally I was only going to watch and review what you see right there, volume 1 of Kill Bill. But got a little too drunk on Jameson yesterday and passed out early, and it didn't happen. But silver lining is I decided to make it up to y'all. So what I did is not only did I watch and review volume 1, but I watched and reviewed volume 2 of Kill Bill. So this is going to be an all Kill Bill stream. And the reason that I say that it kind of all worked out for a reason, I'm going to flesh all this out a little bit more, but this is really all one movie. It says volume 1 and volume 2, but Kill Bill is all one movie. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I'm just going to give this a couple minutes here. Let this thing start brewing here. Let this thing start cooking. See if we can get a couple heads up in here, talk about this. But yeah, man. Sup, dude? Nikki, what's going on, Nikki? How you doing, pal? How you doing, bro? My man. My man. So yeah, dude, I can't remember if I knew this before or not, but it doesn't matter. It was definitely a oh well. Oh, sure. Well, thank you kindly. But dude, day late and a dollar short. Story of my life, brother. But hey, man, it worked out for a reason because, like I said, this was all supposed to be one. It's all one movie. I'll just say that Kill Bill is all one movie. It was shot, produced, all that shit as one. Uma Thurman got pregnant, and those scenes had to be shot the way they were shot, and then just all got shot in order. So Kill Bill is all one movie. It says volume 1 and volume 2, and the reason for that is the very noble, the very respectful gentleman Harvey Weinstein is notorious for forcing directors to meet their deadlines and to cut shit if they need to. And what he suggested to Tarantino was just split into 2 movies because the running time is over 4 hours. So we're going to get into that a little bit more, but yeah, this is all really one movie, man. So I'm glad. My point is I'm glad that things worked out like that, and that I am now like now get to do the stream having watched both parts of the movie and can now talk about it. Sorry. But yeah, man. So this is all supposed to be. It really is all one movie. It's all one movie, but it was split into two. One for the running time, and basically, well, I'll save the rest of it for a little bit later. But it was split into two, volume 1 and volume 2, and it's funnily enough, it makes sense. Like they both almost kind of exist on their own. Like it's like makes sense, like part 1 and part 2 kind of, but it's really all one movie. Sad dude. Sad dude. But yeah, it's all one. It's one story. It makes sense if you were not to stop it and watch it all. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it makes sense that volume 1 is where volume 1, and then volume 2 is volume 2. I'm not explaining that very well, but it makes sense that now knowing that is all like it was all shot together. It was all supposed to be one movie, but it would have been over 4 hours long, and yeah, so it was made into two. Now, let's just go ahead and begin at the beginning, and we'll start with the part that you see right there. Volume 1. Let's start with Kill Bill Volume 1. Now, I did not take a whole lot of notes for these movies. I watched them. I didn't stop them a whole lot. I rewound a couple parts just because they're cool as shit, and I just wanted to just watch them again. But I didn't like take notes or really study any of the scenes like in depth. I just watched it. I watched this movie, so this is more of a like reaction than it is like a proper film study or like a film review. But it's going to be that too. So, yeah, I watched volume 1. To me, volume 1, if you are going to like compare them, and it almost doesn't make sense because it is supposed to be one movie, but now that it is split into two movies, part 1 is more of just like a straight up action movie. You do get some details like filled in, like some like you kind of like, okay, you see that she got fucked up at the wedding, that she's trying to get revenge against Bill and the other people that were responsible. But her backstory really isn't like filled out until the second part. So that's another, that's Quentin Tarantino, his, filming or, showing the film not necessarily in chronological order or, jumping around with the sequence. So you don't know a whole lot of her backstory other than she got fucked up at the wedding and that her and Bill, were involved before. You just kind of know that's just kind of understood. And she's trying to get revenge against him. And like I said, for me, it's part 1. Volume 1 is just more of like a straight up action movie. It opens with that, like it's one of the best fights in the whole thing. The fight between her and Vivica, which I think her character. Let me pull this up. I think her character's name is Vernita Jones, and she's Copperhead, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because I think Oren is Cottonmouth. But yeah, so the first like real like fight scene, and it's one of the best, man. Like, so I'll just go ahead and say this right now. Yin Wu Ping did the fight choreography, the action scenes, and he is the fight choreographer for The Matrix, for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, if I'm not mistaken, Kung Fu Hustle, among others. He's probably one of, if not the most famous martial arts choreographer since the 1990s. I think he did Fists of Legend too. I think he was responsible for Fists of Legend, which if you haven't seen that, it is an awesome fight. It's one of Jet Li's best movies. Great fucking action martial arts movie, and I think Ian Wu-ping did the choreography for that, as well as what we're talking about now, Kill Bill. But it kicks off with a fight between the bride, which is just known as the bride at this point, and I thought it was interesting that they kept bleeping out the excuse me, sorry, I got a fucking frog in my throat. They kept bleeping out the her name. Like they wouldn't say Beatrix Kiddo, they just kept being like beep beep, you know, when they would like talk about her. Thought that was interesting. But because in the second one they don't do that. But that's really the first thing that kicks it off is like the fight between her and Vivica. You know, just shows up at her house. You know, she's Susie Homemaker at this point, and you know, busts open the door, and you get the ooh, 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 ooh. That I always thought that shit was so fucking cool, man. And I'll just say this right now: Tarantino to me is he's really good at stories, at storytelling, like dialogue, screenplays. He's really fucking good at that. He's really good at writing realistic dialogue between characters. But another thing that I think he's really good at, and I'm going to mention this a couple times during the stream, is he is a master of sound. Like a master of like I said, dialogue, not only dialogue, but sound editing, like it's like sound effects, music, like putting adding like the way he uses music in his movies and the way he uses sound effects and the sound editing that he has. Like I know that's not all him, but at the end of the day, the final product is his. And like I just think that he is really, really fucking good at that. And he doesn't get like recognized enough for how good he is at using sound, like sound effects, the way he just the way that like everything hits, man, like the punches and the kicks, like, you know, when they get like when fucking like Uma gets thrown into a glass table, or like when she tosses Elle through the wall of the trailer, like that shit, you can fucking feel that shit, dude. Like, I don't know, man. I've always thought Tarantino was really, really fucking good at that. Just using, he's a master of sound. But yeah, that's a really fucking great fight to kick it off. Really good choreography from Yin Wu-ping. Like I said, it's definitely, I want to say campy, but it's tongue in cheek. Like Tarantino was heavily influenced by grindhouse movies, so we're talking like you know, kung fu movies, samurai movies, blaxploitation films, like 70s like B film kind of shit. That's a heavily, I mean, you can just see it all over Kill Bill. And so the fights kind of have that look. They kind of have that old, like, kind of that feel, but it's done really well. It's like updated and more believable, but it's still got that like kung fu movie kind of like 70s feel to it. The whole shit has a 70s feel to it, like a motherfucker. Big time 70s feel to it. So do a lot of Tarantino movies, actually. Like a lot of them do. Like Pulp Fiction kind of felt like that. Jackie Brown definitely feels like that. Tarantino definitely has a thing for the 70s. And if that's not a known thing, I would not be surprised. Because that is a heavy influence in this one. But yeah, it's a great fight scene to kick it off between her and Vivica. They just beat the fuck out of each other. Then her little girl shows up, and you know, there's a pause in the action. And I'll say this, I'm going to repeat this too. There were a couple, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 got no Oscar nominations. None. I personally think the Academy is a joke at this point. Yet and still, to not get recognized at all, none of these actors, none of what Tarantino did, Uma Thurman, Daryl Hannah, Michael Madsen, David Carradine, none of them got recognized for any of it. Not by the Academy. For nothing. Not for the cinematography or the sound editing or the screenplay, the original screenplay. Yeah, Kill Bill isn't a cool original screenplay or anything. Matter of fact, I want to see. Matter of fact, while we're at the beginning here, let me just see, because I'm gonna look at a couple of these. I'm gonna see who got some of the nominations for different categories, and I'm gonna see what won and why. Because I mean, for Kill Bill to not be nominated for Best Original Screenplay, I want to see what fucking was nominated, because I'm pretty sure, and it's credited as the story or whatever is credited as Q and U, and that's because Quentin Tarantino and Uma Thurman, Q and U respectively, they pretty much came up with this story while they were filming Pulp Fiction, as I understand it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was written by them, and it's such a fucking cool original story. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Because that's all just seems like politics to me. That all just seems like just some like old, like, powers that be, like, turning their noses up at, like, I don't know, man. It's weird because now, like, Weinstein and Tarantino, like, they are the establishment, but at that point, I guess they weren't. I don't know. Because it's crazy. This is the fourth film. Kill Bill was the fourth film by Quentin Tarantino. He's efficient as fuck. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill. Boom, 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 boom. Rock a bitch, sock a bitch, lean back and cock a bitch. I mean, yeah, so that's crazy, man. And I want to see that. I'm curious about that now, man. I'm curious to see that shit now. Fucking so this movie came out in 2003, so these would have been 2004. This would have been what won, because they do the Oscars in like February or March. And whatever year it is, it's for the movies that were from the previous year. Whatever that season was up until whatever the cutoff is. So when they do it in 2004, they're movies that were released in 2003. So let me see. Oscar nominees 2003. Full list. 75th Academy Awards. Let us see who's nominated. Okay. Best Original Screenplay. Okay. This, man, all right. I'm about to give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Because this shit is actually infuriating. You guys, let me read you. The two people in the chat. Salute to y'all. Big up to y'all. I just want to reiterate, if you're just joining me, this movie that we're going to be talking about, these movies, it's really one movie. Kill Bill, and I said before, Kill Bill is one movie. It was shot as one movie, produced as one movie, was going to be released as one movie. The Ultimate Gentleman, HW, Harvey Weinstizzle suggested that he make it into 2 because he's known for being a tyrant like that. He's like, no, you're gonna do it like this. So Tarantino broke into 2. But a positive of that was he was gonna have to cut some shit. If he kept it as 1, he was gonna have to cut some stuff down. So there would not have been the anime thing, which I think is one of the coolest parts of Volume 1. There would not have been some of the other things too. So in a sense, it kind of worked out for whatever reason. You tell me. I don't know. But just what I was just saying was that Kill Bill was nominated for exactly 0. No nominations. Neither Volume 1 nor Volume 2 received any kind of nominations for anything. A couple of them, whatever, but like Best Original Screenplay, you're telling me that story that is in Volume 1 and Volume 2, that's not worthy of at least a nomination from the Academy? Give me a fucking break. So let me just tell you, these are the nominees. The nominees were for 2004. So Kill Bill was released in 2003. So the 2004 Oscars, or whenever it was, let me see what the date was. March 23rd, 2003. Okay, so no. Okay, this is wrong. I got the wrong date. Here we go. Before I jump the gun here. Okay, now I got the right one. Let me see. Oh, this one's even worse. This one's even worse, dude. This one's even fucking worse. Like I said, Kill Bill got 0 fucking nominations. None whatsoever. Okay? Especially and Best Original Screenplay is one of the big ones, man. There's a couple other snubs that I'm going to get to. A couple actors and actresses that got snubbed, but for it to not even be nominated for Best Original Screenplay with that story, The Bride and Bill and the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad and O-Ren Ishii and Hattori Hanzo and Pai Mei, that story was not worthy of an Academy Award nomination. But let me tell you what was. This is what was worthy of Academy Award nominations for the year that Kill Bill was released. Okay? The nominees for Best Original Screenplay are The Barbarian Invasions, Dirty Pretty Things, Finding Nemo, okay, fair enough. Finding Nemo, fair enough. And In America. And do you know what won? Do you know what was nominated and won? Lost in Translation. Now, Lost in Translation is a pretty good movie. It's got Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson. It's Bill Murray in a more dramatic role. It's a pretty good movie. Deserves to be nominated. Fair enough. That deserves to be nominated. Finding Nemo. Really good original story. Great animated movie. Deserves to be nominated. I have no problem with that. But you're telling me that you can't bump The Barbarian Invasions, Dirty Pretty Things, or In America. You think that those are better original stories than Kill Bill. Give me a fucking break, man. That's not honest. That's not genuine. That's bad faith. That's politics. That's something. That's snubbing Tarantino for something. Because you can't tell me that The Barbarian Invasions, Dirty Pretty Things, and In America, none of those are better original stories than Kill Bill. They're not. The characters, the stories, they're all classic. This is a classic fucking story. And it's ridiculous that it didn't even get nods. That just shows you what a joke the Academy is, man. But yeah, so to continue on with Kill Bill Volume 1, just like I said, I didn't take a lot of notes, so this is just kind of like a reaction off the top of my head. Fucking the action is awesome. It's very tongue in cheek, but it's for as crazy and over the top as it is, it also works. Like it works really well for the movie, and it all hits really hard. Like it's all like believable in that universe. Um, and like I said, it's very like homage, like nod to 70s like grindhouse movies, like kung fu movies and old samurai movies. Fucking Sonny Chiba is even in it. Like, come on, man, that's a big homage. Um, so yeah, the characters, the story, just we'll just take volume 1. Just the story is awesome. Revenge story. She's part of this assassination squad. You don't know why or how she ended up where she is, but she's there. Uh, and she's just she gets fucked up, dude. Like the violence in this movie, especially volume 1, is just it's all the chain, baby. Like this is a violent fucking movie. And this is 2003. So for 2000, even for it's pushing the envelope for 2003. Especially the ending, goddamn. But yeah, she's fucked up at the wedding, right? Then the cops are investigating it, like they got the chalk line around her, and she's fucking alive, right? She's alive. So then she wakes up in the hospital bed, and she assumes that her baby died, that she like had a miscarriage or stillborn or whatever, and they just took the baby out and she's gone. But that's a really good bit of acting there, like that I believed that. Like I believed Uma Thurman's pain. I believed Beatrix's pain when she realized that the baby was gone. And you think it's dead. It's not, but you think it is. So that was really good acting from Uma Thurman. But that sets up like it's like, okay, I care about this character now. Because you kind of like sympathetic to her from the get-go, because it's like, okay, she was pregnant, she's at this wedding, and she just got mollywopped by this like crazy like martial arts master and his like team of assassins. Like what the fuck? But then you really like, damn, like she got it bad, man. Like I like you're just on her side like from the get-go. But she then she just starts crossing him off the list, man. She starts going after him and shows up at Vernita's at Vivica's house, kills her, has that crazy fight with her, and then the movie just goes from there, man. But yeah, I thought that part 1 is pretty much just like a nonstop action movie, dude. It doesn't really like let up. It goes from like it's not shot completely like in chronological order, but it goes from A to B like in the movie pretty fucking quick. And like I said, I'm glad that it was split into 2 movies and that this part didn't have to be edited out, because to me this is one of the coolest parts of the movie. And I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit, but to me that anime sequence when they're delving into Orin Ishii's backstory, that is such a fucking cool part of the movie, that little anime bit there. And yeah, it was the guy that did it. I can't remember. Let me just pull this up real quick. But yeah, the guy that did it, let me see, what's his name? Let's see. Give me 1 second here. Okay, yeah. Directed by Kazuto Nakazawa. So he did the character designs. I don't know if you guys have heard of Samurai Champloo, but Kazuto Nakazawa did the character designs for Samurai Champloo. And he was also the animation director for Samurai Champloo. So that was the guy that did the little anime sequence for O-Ren. Sup, gangster? Nikki Elbow's back in the building. But yeah, so that anime sequence is one of the coolest parts of the movie. It's basically they're going after O-Ren's family. She's hiding under the bed. You know, her dad is like, you know, obviously some officer in the military. He like fucks up those two guys. You know, two henchmen, like beats their fucking ass. Actually, some good fight choreography in that too, man. That he locks up like a nice fucking Kimura or some kind of like figure four, like arm break there. And that's a sweet little move there. And that's such a cool, like little fight sequence. So her dad is like some military officer, kicks the living shit out of two henchmen, and then the deadly one, like the samurai or the assassin guy, like stabs him in the back. And that part's just crazy, man. Like they kill the dad, then they kill the mom while she's under the bed, and like stab the mom with a sword through the bed while O-Ren's like under the bed. And that part where like you see the like blood start to collect and then like drip down onto her head, man, that shit's intense, dude. Just crazy. What's up, gangster? Chilling. Just talking some Kill Bill, man. Just giving you guys my reaction here. So yeah, that's an awesome part. That's one of the coolest parts of the movie to me. But yeah, the first volume 1, even though it is split into two and it is supposed to be one movie, it's split into two. But if you're gonna draw a distinction, I would say that the first part is just straight up action, like all the way through. Like it's jumping back and forth in time, but she's getting crushed at the wedding, fucking fight with Copperhead. Then let's see the plot. Yeah, that knife fight is crazy though. Like Vernita pulls she has the gun in the cereal box, and then she just fucking throws the knife, fucking buries the knife in her chest. And then the kid shows up and she's like, yeah, if you want fucking revenge later, it's like, you know, I'll be waiting. But yeah, there's just so many. The first Kill Bill, there's so many classic like images and like moments and scenes. Like even the image of Elle walking down the hallway in the hospital with her like nurse shit and the little nurse cross over her eye patch. Like that's just a classic shot. And there's a lot of those in this movie. There's a lot of them. But another like really crazy part in the movie, and it's really fucked up, but she definitely gets her revenge on this one, is the whole my name is Buck and I'm here to fuck. That whole shit. Yeah. Super fucked up. Basically, the necrophile / dude that lets people bang paralyzed / comatose people, whatever you call that. I'm sure there's some disorder for that, some name for that, but that dude, goddamn, does he ever get his. That's one of the, like, honestly, dude, that's one of the most brutal deaths in the whole movie. And he gets it one of the worst out of anybody. I mean, he deserves it too, but it's like she definitely fucks him up, dude. Old Buck. But man, yeah, that whole part of the movie is crazy. Honestly, that's the only part of the movie where it kind of drags, is like that part. And that's pretty crazy. Like that's part of the movie where I would say is the move's the slowest. Like her waking up in the hospital, you know, biting that dude's lip off, fucking him up, killing Buck, and crawling out and getting in the pussy wagon. That's like the slowest part of the movie. So yeah, I would say Volume 1 is a straight up action movie. I mean, Volume 2 is as well, but and I'll talk about where Volume 2 kind of like differs a little bit. Even though it's one movie, Kill Bill is one movie. It was shot as one movie. It's supposed to be one movie. But yeah, that happens. She escapes. She gets her strength back, and she tears off in the pussy wagon. Now I liked what Tarantino did, where he used. It doesn't just jump around randomly. Like, it transitions very well, and when he does jump around, it's appropriately set up. Like, for example, well, yeah, okay. So she wakes up in the hospital. She, I'm pretty sure that the sequence for O-Ren, the anime shit is. I'm trying to remember because I watched it the day before yesterday, I watched it yesterday. I'm pretty sure that O-Ren, that's that anime sequence that where they delve into O-Ren's backstory. Nice. What's up, dude? Nice to see you, man. Yeah, just fucking bullshitting about some Kill Bill. I'm pretty sure, like, she's like, okay, you got to wiggle your big toe, and of course, Tarantino's obsession with feet. You see her feet all up in the camera. She's like, you just wiggle your big toe. That's all you got to do, man. Just one toe at a time. And I think it cuts to O-Ren's anime backstory, which is awesome, man. That's just so cool. So yeah, that's crazy, man. She's like, they stabs the mom through the bed with a katana. O-Ren's under the bed, like, mommy, and the fucking blood starts to collect on the sheets and the mattress, and then it finally just saturates and drips through. That's just gnarly. So yeah, it was a loss of innocence very early. She becomes an assassin. Like, that picture of her on the rooftop, or the shot of her on the rooftop, in the red fucking spandex, latex assassin shit, and then fucking snipering that motherfucker like through his limousine. Like, that shit's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is. Like, I don't dislike feet. Like, I'm not like, ooh, feet gross necessarily, but I'm not like, I don't get what the obsession is. They definitely don't turn me on. I'll say that. I'm not like necessarily like turned off by feet, but I'm definitely not turned on by them. And he is obsessed with them, man. But anyways, yeah, but that shit is cool. That anime shit, coolest part. But probably the most famous part of the movie. Well, before I get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself here, boys. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's slow it down. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I've never understood that, man. I've never understood that fetish. It's a weird one. Yeah, dude, like where they're like, yeah, fucking, let me fucking put dudes that are like to say to a girl, like, yeah, let me put my dick between your feet or some shit like that. Like, what the fuck, dude? Shit's weird. But one of the coolest parts of the movie, and where I feel like it's just like, I can't believe that a story this rich with this many cool characters was not nominated for original screenplay. But the part with Hattori Hanzo, that part is so awesome to me, dude. And I love that part when she goes to Japan, when she goes to Okinawa and tracks down Hattori Hanzo to get that fucking sword. And I love the whole thing. Going into Hanzo's place, playing coy, he finds out who she is. swears to never make the sword, and then she's like, "No, motherfucker, you're making me the sword." And he's like, "All right." That part, I love that part, man. So awesome. And like the music, man. And I just want to reiterate this: Quentin Tarantino is a master of sound and music. The when he's presenting her the katana that he's made, that music, that Japanese music is so fucking cool and so appropriate. And yeah, I've always thought that's one of the strongest parts of Tarantino's directing is the way that he uses music, the way that he uses sound, when to use music, when to not use music, when it's, what do they call it, diegetic sound, when it's just the sound that would be generated normally, when there's nothing added to it. He knows when to do that. And I like that in his fights, there's not a lot of music and stuff. It's kind of, or he knows when to appropriately place music and sound, and I find that to be an underrated quality of his directing. But yeah, that part in particular is awesome to me. And Sonny Chiba is so fucking good as Hattori Hanzo. And man, I'll tell you what, dude. Oh, that's all good. It's all good, man. Just appreciate you stopping through it all. Oh man, I'm jealous. Oh, so I'm jealous of that, man. Yeah, man. I'm a karate nerd. I would love to fucking go to Okinawa. I would love to do that shit, man. Definitely on my bucket list, for sure. But yeah, man. That he's so good as Hattori Hanzo, and I love that part of the movie when she goes to get the sword. And I'll tell you, I've never like thought that Uma Thurman was like the hottest thing ever, but she is fucking sexy in these movies. And that part in particular, when she goes in, when she strolls into Hattori Hanzo's, like looking like the little tourist, man, she is looking like a snack in that part. Like she's fucking sexy in that part. And in this movie in particular, man, she's a looker. Yeah, well, you're a real one for that, man. I appreciate it, Jay. Yeah, I know, right? Tiny, tiny. The Ryukyu Islands, man. It's a small little strip. Crazy, but yeah, it's such to have so much cool shit come out of those islands. It's gnarly, man. It's a very mystical place. As or so it seems. And I'm very jealous that you've been there. That's awesome. But yeah, and then of course everyone knows this movie for the ending, the volume 1 in particular. The yellow jumpsuit, as you can see there. The thumb is gross. That's hilarious. But yeah, man, she looks hot in that jumpsuit, dude. Like she's yeah, she's quite a filly in this one. But that it's all classic. Like when she goes to Tokyo in that like that shit is so cool. And also, man, Quentin Tarantino, I love those shots of the motorcycle. What do they call it? Damn it, what's the name of that? When it's like a bunch of cars in a procession for like a god damn it, I can't think of the name for it. A cad, like a motor cad or whatever the fuck they call it. When they're when Oren is getting transported around, I love those shots. The Tarrant of the city and like the cars and all that stuff. I think that's great. That's he does for a guy that's not. This was pretty much his first like action movie, right? This is pretty much, yeah, because like Jackie Brown is more of like was more like a thriller. Pulp Fiction is more of a crime thriller. Reservoir Dogs is a little bit more of an action movie, but even that was more of just a crime thriller. So this was the first one that I would consider a straight up action movie from him, and I thought he did a pretty damn good job. Considering that's not what he's known for, considering this is only his 4th movie, it's pretty gnar, dude. So yeah, I love those shots of Tokyo. Again, some awesome music, and really like the meat and potatoes of this movie is the ending. I mean, it's an extended finale, going into the House of Blue Leaves, where it really all takes place, and it's a long sequence for her to get into the House of Leaves, track down Oren, call her out, fight the bodyguards, fight the crazy 88s, and then have the duel with Oren. Like that's all almost like an hour. It's like 45 minutes. And it's fucking awesome. Like, especially that fight with the crazy 88s, dude. It's like a drawn out sequence, and it is super over the top, like way excessive, like blood, like super B movie style, like ranges from so bad it's good to like actually really good. Super bloody. Like, even looking back on it, man, it's like this movie is like over 20 years old, and it's fucking, I mean, is it 20 years? No, almost 20 years old. Almost 20 years old. She's 18 years old. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like, this is awesome. Like, I really enjoyed watching it. It was it's a great finale. Like I said, that's about 45 minutes of just pure like action scene. That's why I think this one, if you're gonna make some kind of distinction between the two of them, I would say it's this. I'd say Volume 1 is more of a standard action movie. But it's a good one. It's not standard, but it is has a more conventional action movie structure. Just gonna reload this chillum here. Chat's gone quiet for a second, so I'll follow suit. Take a little break here. Been yakking nonstop. Gather my thoughts here. But yeah, man. This movie's really known for the finale. It's really what, like I said, it's full of classic shots and classic sequences and classic scenes, but it's really the ending. The incredibly violent ending. And her fight with the 88s. But I'll tell you, one of my favorite fights from Volume 1 or 2 is her fight with Go-Go. Myself a nice crisp Canada Dry. Free plug there for Canada Dry. Please start using natural ginger flavor. That's all I ask. Don't think it's too much. Where was I? Oh, yes. The fight with the crazy 88s. No. Her fight with Go-Go. Go-Go is Oren's super psychotic bodyguard. It's an awesome fight, and I love the variety of camera shots used in this fight sequence. It's a lot of quick cuts, and it goes from close up to wide shot to overhead to slow-mo. Like, I love the slow-mo shot of the spiked ball like crashing through the fucking table or the barricade that Beatrix has up, and then the sound when she fucking takes that spike board and puts it through her fucking head. Like, I love that fight. That's probably like one of my favorite fights of the whole thing. And it doesn't last very long, but like I said, I love the variety of camera shots. Excuse me. And yeah, it's really cool. It's like, close up. And each like move has its own shot almost. Very cool the way he filmed it. Like I said, considering it's his first effort really as an action director, did a pretty good job. Kind of came out with a classic. But yeah, that's a cool fight. I love that fight. Go-Go's just a little psychopath, and that weapon she uses is so. Oh, dude, remember I was saying that Tarantino's a master of sound. When she's fucking the sound of that fucking chain, that ball and chain, and she's whipping. When she's like whipping it around and like marching Beatrix down, just she's gnarly, dude, gnarly. But that is just one little part of that whole like that finale. The House of Blue Leaves fighting off all the assassins or fighting off all her bodyguards, and then having to deal with the crazy 88s, and then having to fight Orin. Like, she's a bloody fucking mess. By the time her and Orin Ishii square off, like, Beatrix has already slaughtered like at least 50 people. By the time her and Orin square off, she's killed at least 50 people. At least. Because remember they say in the second part, like, no, it wasn't really 88. Like, it was just, thought it sounded cool or something. But yeah, the ending, I mean, those are classic shots and classic scenes for a reason. That was 2003, man. That was almost 20 years ago. It was envelope pushing for that time. And it was really enjoyable to watch. It had been a while. I hadn't seen this movie in a while. And I keep going on about it, man, but again, the sound and the shots in the showdown with her and Orin, like the samurai duel. That fucking that fountain, man. The wooden fountain fills up and then it would just like, I can't replicate that sound, but it's just cool. It's just like it's just in the background. That's a cool little touch there. It's a lot of little subtle things, a little subtle, not Easter eggs, but little things that he did and added to this movie. Little subtle touches that I really, really it caught my eye when I watched it this time. So the other, let's see, what else did I want to talk about as far as this part goes? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an extended finale, and it's done really well too. Like, there's some movies that it's like, when is this gonna fucking end? But surprisingly, man, for as much happens in this, for as much as what happens in this movie, it's less than 2 hours long. This movie has a total running time of what, like, yeah, 111 minutes, man. That's less than 2 hours. It's like an hour and 50 minutes, hour and 51 minutes. So that's with like credits and stuff. Like, it it really is a rollicking action movie. And if you're gonna split it into two, and you're gonna like say, okay, this is two movies, and I just have to look at Kill Bill Volume 1 as its own movie. If I have to, I don't, but just for the sake of it, I will. Just for the sake of it, I'll say Kill Bill Volume 1 is its own movie. I think that the acting from Uma Thurman in this part in particular is really, really, really good. Her acting in the whole thing is good, but she does a really good job in particular. Like I said, like when she wakes up and realizes that the baby's gone and she thinks it's dead, like that's really believable. Like she's really believable as a sympathetic character. Um and her acting was, I feel like it was kind of an Oscar snub, man. I feel like Uma kind of got Oscar snub. I feel like it's, and this is kind of, if you're to look at it as one, if you're to look at the whole thing, like volume 1 and 2 as a whole, it's some of her best acting. And the fact that it didn't get nominated at all is kind of disappointing. It really is, man, because I think that she did do a damn good job. But yeah, I want to say that. Another thing I want to say, again, for Tarantino, for this to be his first real action movie, he did a damn good job, man. Like, it was very exciting. The action scenes were thrilling. Good, like I said, good sound. Like when the punches and the kicks land, when they're smashing each other through tables and breaking shit over each other's heads. Like, it's all really good, like in your face action. And I really like that. And also, like I said, some of the shots of like the motorcycle scenes and the yeah, the motorcycle scenes, the scenes of her like following Sophie, all that shit's really good for a first time action director. And you know, the cinematography, man. Tarantino is always known for that, but classic. The settings, man, classic settings. Even Hattori Hanzo's place, man, I just felt like I was right there. I felt like I was right there in his house, or his whatever that is. It's a shop and his house. But that and the shots in Tokyo, the House of Blue Leaves, the cinematography is really, really good. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention about Volume 1 before I move on to Volume 2 is, what else was I going to say? Yeah, the acting was really good from Uma Thurman in particular. There's some other good acting, but I felt like her performance in Volume 1 in particular stood out to me. The focus, not that the focus isn't on her in Volume 2, but I feel like there's more, I could be imagining this, but I feel like there's more screen time for some of the other characters in Volume 2 than there is in Volume 1. But yeah, she did a really, really good job, especially with acting. And I feel like she might have should have got an Academy Award nomination for at least Volume 1. But yeah. So with all that in mind, the action, the dialogue, and the dialogue is again a Tarantino staple. It's I mean, it's not like tough guy dialogue. It's more like action movie, like revenge movie dialogue, but it's still good. It's still good. But the story, the characters, I was locked in the whole fucking way. I've seen this movie a million times. I used to watch it a lot when it first came out. I bought this DVD, the copy of this DVD I've had for years, dude. This might have been the original one that I bought. Some of the DVDs that I have in my collection are like movies that I've had to rebuy because I've just lost some of them as many times as I've moved. But this one might be the original, dude. This one might be original. Like, it's a pretty old fucking case. The disc itself wasn't in the best condition. It was a little scratched up. But it played all the way through, man. I was surprised. But yeah, that's straight up at the entertainment center, man. That's straight up at the collection. But yeah, Volume 1 is a great action movie, a great martial arts movie. The fight with Vivica is really well choreographed. And the showdown with her and Oren, it's intense, man. Like I said, the snow's falling. Fucking, you know, that wooden fountain is just like clicking in the background. It's intense, man. And it's kind of like realistic in the sense that, you know, supposedly samurai duels did not last very long. It was over in a few swipes of the sword. So that was pretty realistic. But yeah, so overall, if I have to split them into two and I have to give them a rating. If I have to give them a rating, I would say, because I want to kind of rate it all as one because it is one movie. So it's hard to like differentiate like, okay, I don't know. I kind of want to look at it as all as one, but if I'm going to split it up and say, okay, Volume 1, how am I going to rate Volume 1 as its own? I would give Volume 1, I got to give it a 9. I was that entertained by it. It's that cool of an original story. And like I said, I think it got snubbed, man. I think it got snubbed. That was more entertaining, I guarantee you, than any of those other fucking movies, including Finding Nemo and fucking Lost in Translation. I'm sorry. This is a cooler story than Lost in Translation. Not that I don't think that deserves to be nominated, but come on, man. Like, Kill Bill is a better story than that to me. But alas. So that's Volume 1. I give Volume 1 a 9. It's awesome, classic action movie. Really cool fight scenes, sword duels, a lot of fucking blood, a lot of guts. Motherfuckers getting limbs chopped off left, right, and center. It's very entertaining. Definitely, it had been a while since I watched the whole thing, and I enjoyed it for sure. But yeah, I'm going to take a brief intermission, I suppose. Just take a brief intermission. See if the chat picks back up. I'm going to continue on regardless, but I'm going to take a brief intermission, reload the chalice, and then I'm going to start Volume 2. And we will go from there. But yeah, it's weird because even as it almost seems like they kind of exist on their own. I don't know if they did that on purpose. Like, if he did film it as one, it almost kind of it's perfectly like split into two parts. It's a perfectly like split, like part 1, part 2. I'll say that. So it would have made sense to do it as 1. It makes sense to do it as 2. So volume 2 to me, what I think makes volume 2 a little bit different. What I think makes it a little bit different is the overall, the acting, the story, the plot is a little bit stronger. There's not as much action, but there's more drama, there's more story, there's more of that than just straight up action scenes. That's why I say part 1 is more of an action movie. Part 1 is more of like an action, like samurai movie. I would say like samurai revenge thriller. That's what I would say. Part 2 is like a kung fu revenge thriller. Like I'd say part 1 is more like almost has more of a Japanese influence, like Hattori Hanzo getting the samurai sword, tracking down O-Ren in Tokyo. In volume 2, she I'm assuming goes to China. Because, and I want to say this, so yeah, I think volume 2 is different a little bit because of it just feels a little bit more like a kung fu movie. And it also like it just has a little bit of a different like flavor to it. Like, and to me, dude, um, there's a couple characters in this movie. Like a couple of the characters in this movie kind of like steal the show for me. If that makes sense. Um, like a couple like and one of them, I'll just go ahead and say one of them, a dude that kind of steals the show for me is Pai Mei. And that's why I say it kind of has a bit of a different feel because it feels like more of a kung fu movie. She's like training, you almost imagine like in some like temple. Gotta imagine in China somewhere. So that's what I say. It has a little bit more of a different feel. But that's like some of my favorite parts of the movie. Gordon Liu, the guy that plays Pai Mei, he steals like every fucking scene. Pai Mei is like the archetypal kung fu master. He's hilarious. He's like, he's a hard ass, like unrelentingly brutal, but teaches her to be fucking deadly as she can possibly be. But I love that part of the movie. The cruel tutelage of Pai Mei. That's one of my favorite like chapters of the movie. It's all divided into chapters or whatever, but that's one of my favorite parts. So I what I was gonna say. Oh, damn it. This is the one part where like not writing notes is a bad thing. For me. Yes, let me pull up. So, I remember. I remember now. Pai Mei is a scene stealer, absolutely. Another one is Bud. Michael Madsen's performance as Bud in this movie. And I know some people might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I think that Michael Madsen's performance as Bud in this movie was Oscar worthy. And I think he deserved to be nominated for an Oscar for his performance as Bud, Bill's brother, in this movie. I think it is I think it's probably his best performance as an actor, just strictly as an actor. Just strictly his acting. I feel like Michael Madsen as Bud, it is his best performance, and I think it was Oscar worthy. I really do. when he is talking with Bill, and he's just sitting there, and they're like talking about what the fuck they're gonna do, and he's saying, you know, that woman deserves her revenge, and we deserve to die. Like, that's good acting, man. And he's hilarious, dude. That whole part is that whole sequence of him going to like his job at the titty bar and like his boss giving him shit, like that is so, it's so like realistic. They paint such a Tarantino paints such a vivid picture of how shitty Bud's life is. It's so funny, dude. So funny. But yeah, he's such a believable like loser that's still like deadly. You know what I mean? Like, he's clearly a loser now. It's very convincing, but he's still like deadly. You know, he he's waiting for it with the shotgun, which he tries to bust in. He gets the drop on Kiddo, and that I like the it was what I was saying before, like when when he does the flashbacks in these movies, he sets it up really well. Like he goes to put her in the ground, and that part, goddamn, that shit's funny. When he's talking about the mace, like the shit with like the when he sees like, see that, don't you? He's like, you're going in the ground regardless. No matter what happens, he's like, you're going in the ground. That's just all there is to it. He's like, but I was gonna bury you with this flashlight. He's like, but if you're gonna act like a horse's ass, then I'll spray this whole goddamn can right in your eyeballs. I'll burn them out of your fucking head. Like, man, I'm telling you, he got snubbed. That was an Oscar-worthy performance for Michael Madsen, and yeah, I think it's his best acting-wise. It's his best performance. But yeah, so he does put her in the ground, but then it cuts to how she became so deadly, and I love that part of the movie, man. I love that part of the movie where she goes to train with Pai Mei. That's some of my favorite. That's my favorite. Might be my favorite little stretch of the movie. He's so hilarious. Like, he's just, like I said, he is the prototype like B movie like kung fu master that like flicks the beard, you know, and shit. You know, like he's perfect, dude. And yeah, I love that part about the movie. And also, dude, also, like I was saying, that although Volume 1 is more of an action movie, there's some good action in Volume 2, particularly the fight with L. That might be overall my favorite fight of the whole movie. Like, my favorite like duel is that fight she has in Bud's trailer with L. The choreography is awesome. It's crazy, like them like fighting over the sword, and then L getting the upper hand, then her grabbing Bud's. You find out that Bud didn't hawk his Hanzo sword, and she actually, you know, so she snags Bud's sword, you know, to Bud, the only man that I ever loved, Bill. She's like, huh, he didn't sell it after all. I love that shit, man. I love that fight. I love that fucking fight. Um, so yeah, although it doesn't have as much action, the action that is in it is really sweet, and that's probably my favorite duel of the whole fucking both movies. Because like I said, it's supposed to be one movie. It really is one movie. But if we are saying it's two movies, in Volume 2, that's my favorite action scene. Is her fight with L. And fucking snatches that eye, dude. And it's great. Like another example of Tarantino's directing. Like, he does great close-up shots, great quick cuts, and he's a master of sound, man. He knows when to add music, when to add sound effects, when to leave it out, when to add it in. It's just right. Just right. So Dustin Soap. Like I said, the plot, the acting, I feel is a little bit stronger overall in part 2, in volume 2. But again, it's really one movie, so it's just splitting hairs. It's splitting hairs, Donnie. What else was I gonna say? Volume 2. Where am I at? Oh yeah, man. So the ending. Let's talk about the ending, and then I'll probably wrap it up here in a minute. So let's talk about the ending. The ending is good. It's a solid ending. I don't dislike the ending. But I feel like you could have shortened that a little bit. And maybe that's like because he made it into 2 movies, he kept that. But I feel like if there's a little bit of fat you could have trimmed off one of the movies, it's that ending part. Like that all feels about 5 to 10 minutes too long. Her showing up, playing with the daughter, tucking her in, talking to Bill, then has another flashback, then back to Bill, and they fight, all that. I feel like they could have shaved that off a little bit. That's the one part of the movie that I felt like drag. Even though there's slow parts before that, that's the one part of the movie that I felt like dragged a little bit. But there is that cool flashback of her dueling with the other assassin, and she finds out she's pregnant. The other assassin backs off. It's where she's ultimately reveals why she left Bill. But that's cool. That's a cool little action scene there. And but yeah, that whole ending, it's good. Like I like the fight between her and Bill. I like that final like little duel with her and Carradine, where they basically just fight while they're both sitting down, which is pretty crazy. It's awesome. They literally like a fight, both sitting down. It's the coolest sitting down fight ever, right? To me. But they're fighting, and she literally like he goes to thrust at her with the sword, and she just fucking puts it right in the sheath, right in the scabbard, and hits him with the 5-point palm, dude. That 5-point palm exploding heart technique, and that's all she wrote for Bill. But yeah, I thinking about part 2 as its own movie, I think I'd give it about the same. I think I'd give it a 9 as well. Together, it gets a 9.5. Thinking about that as one movie, I mean, goddamn, there's so much cool shit in it. The music, the camera shots, the action scenes, the duels. It's awesome. Awesome music. Awesome use of sound. Tarantino is a sound master to me, but I really, really enjoy watching both of these movies. I will continue this Tarantino series. I will watch Jackie Brown at some point and review that. And I will watch Pulp Fiction as well. But I'm glad that I ended up watching this volume 2. I'm glad I ended up watching the second one. So to kind of summarize it all, Kill Bill is a great story. Has incredibly memorable characters. Even not just the members of the assassination squad, but the side characters, even like Esteban Vallejo. Very memorable character. He's only in the movie for like 3 or 4 minutes, but he's the smooth talking, like older like pimp or whatever from Mexico, and basically finds out where Bill is from him. But the characters are good. The acting is underrated. Particularly, Carradine is good. Carradine is really good as Bill. I do want to give him credit. But the acting from Uma Thurman, and in particular, Michael Madsen. To me, Michael Madsen's acting kind of stole the show in Volume 2. So I want to say that. But these movies together, yeah, I got to give it a 9.5. It's too fucking good. But yeah, separately, I'd give them each about a 9. Really strong effort from Tarantino. But yeah, that I think that is going to about wrap it up for this one. I enjoyed watching these movies a whole hell of a lot. Tarantino is one of my favorite directors. And I outlined some of the reasons why I thought, why I think so, and why what I thought some of his best attributes were, like what shone through in these movies. But yeah, it was a treat watching these movies again. And like I said, I'm gonna do a Jackie Brown stream. I'm gonna do a Pulp Fiction stream. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I want to thank everybody that came through. MMA Drunkie, appreciate you, bro. Nikki Elbows, MMA Gangster, Dried Spicy. Y'all are the best, man. I appreciate it. This was fun. I enjoyed watching and talking about these movies, and I am going to keep it rolling on this, boys. But anyone that watches this replay, tomorrow, don't know what time, but I will be doing my UFC live stream. I'm going to make my official picks. I'm going to may or may not do the weigh-ins. I'm going to try and get in touch with Jack because I know that he likes to do those weigh-in reaction streams sometimes, and I would much rather listen to him do that than do that myself. But sometimes I like to do that just because I'm watching them anyway. But and sometimes that's more fun than just listen to fucking, the dead silence and fucking Brendan Fitzgerald fucking with his thumb up his ass. I'm not trying to fucking listen to that shit. So I would rather do it than nothing. But if Jack is going to do it, I would rather listen to him talk about the weigh-ins. But yeah, so I'll figure that out. But regardless, it'll either be at noon or 2 probably that I do my stream. But I'll put out the notification. But yeah, thank you to everyone that came through. I really enjoyed watching these movies. This is a lot of fun doing these Entertainment Center episodes. And yeah, boys, I will be back with it next week. I got to figure out which movies it will be between, but I will put out a poll. I'll definitely put out another poll. So be sure to vote in it. And thanks again, everyone that stopped through. Y'all are the best, man. This has been just my 2 cents, and I hope to catch y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good one. Peace.